And just as a follow-up, back in June, you were talking about contraceptives and diabetes medications being able to flow as of April. So what can you commit to flowing as of April? And if so, why not meeting that kind of goal you would put in place for yourself?
Well, yeah. So, there's going to be some agreements announced very soon. And when we announce those agreements, then I can give you those kind of that level of precise detail. But let me say, BC isn't here, but I'll pick on them because they were the first to make contraceptives free. It costs about $25 million. They're already saving more money than it's costing them for the program. That's how powerful it is to get people the drugs that they need. So there is such a compelling case to get this done. But it's important that we do it right and we do it collaboratively with provinces. We're going to have these deals very, very soon. When that happens, then we'll be able to show exactly when those drugs are flowing. But we're moving as fast as we possibly can, notwithstanding, obviously, there's a lot of things happening in the world right now that are trying to pull our attention in lots of places. But people's health is too important to lose sight of. We have to continue pushing.
Hi there, for Minister Holland. It's Lindsay Armstrong with Canadian Press. Understanding that you're supporting Chrystia Freeland in the leadership race, I want to know what you make of the fact that her team is not committing to a universal pharmacare program.
Well, I can say that I've talked with Chrystia, obviously, about the continuance of the pharmacare program. We have this Parliament where we have an opportunity to get this done, and we're going to get it done. And I'm certain that there'll be support to continue that. I think the question of what we're going to run on in the next election, well, that depends on how much we're able to get done before it happens. And so my preoccupation is on getting these deals signed.
With that, a question to any of our provincial or territorial ministers. Given the state of things, do you feel that cutting a pharmacare deal is worth it, given the impending leadership race and eventual election? So any of the provincial
I'm going to go out on a limb and say that that's look how let me just talk about where we are today. Tomorrow's a promise to no one. And the challenges that are faced in our healthcare system demand our immediate attention and action. And right now we have a jurisdiction in Ontario that's in an election. That's part of our democratic process. But I think that constituents expect when they elect us not to get close to an election and stop working because one is approaching. We're supposed to work until the last day we're given, and then we get an opportunity to campaign. And you will hear every time I come to the microphone, I'm talking about the work we're doing today, what we're driving to change in the immediate future, and how we're using the roles that we've been so fortunate to be given to be able to serve Canadians. And so I'm often, whether or not it was House Leader or now as Health Minister, saying that the politics of the election, it's going to happen. Like, we're going to have a conversation about what we're offering in an election campaign and what a Pierre Poilievre government would do to healthcare. Like, that's all coming. But I think rightfully people should expect us to be focused on the moment that is now and working with our partners who are here now, because who knows what tomorrow holds, particularly in the world as it is right now.
Thank you. I'd like to pose that question to Minister Thompson about the closeness of a pharmacare deal.
So thank you very much. Certainly, we are in active discussions with our federal counterparts in terms of the pharmacare deal. Minister Holland and I had an opportunity to meet last week, and certainly the officials in Health Canada and in the Department of Health and Wellness are working on the details of what that bilateral agreement could look like. I think Nova Scotians expect us to do their due diligence based on the jurisdictional uniqueness that we have, and so we'll continue those discussions. But those are very active discussions that are underway right now in the province.
Hi, Heidi Petracek, Global National. A few questions for Minister Holland again. Define very soon when signing bilateral agreements, more specifically than very soon, because you are running out of runway.
Oh, I'm aware. Look, I think there is runway in a couple of different quantums. One is to do all the deals that we can do immediately. This is over the next number of weeks to get as much that we possibly can done. But I'll be very clear again. I believe, and there's a lot of work to be done. So I'm not saying this to prejudice my colleagues, because there's a lot of conversation and work that would have to be done. But I'm very hopeful that we could get all deals done with all provinces given the time of this Parliament. And this parliament was elected to a 4-year term that expires in October. So all I'm asking for is not a deferral of an election, not a suspension of parliament, but to the time that we were given by voters to get the work done. So hopefully that's about as much specificity as I can give you.
And
Hi, Minister Thompson, Callum from CTV. I guess I just wonder back to pharmacare. We're hearing certainly the urgency from Minister Holland on getting a deal done. In your eyes, what's a realistic timeline for Nova Scotia? How close are you to signing off on a deal?
So, we've had very candid discussions over the last couple of weeks. Minister Holland, we were fortunate enough to meet last week, and certainly our officials, based on those conversations, were able to move forward. We certainly are pleased to see that there is some flexibility in terms of the conditions around the bilateral agreements, and we want to make sure that it captures what's happening in our jurisdiction in Nova Scotia. So we are in active discussions. We understand time is of the essence, and we've both been very candid about that. So I don't have anything for you today in terms of a tight timeline, but I will tell you that we're in active discussions and hopefully more to say soon.
Thank you. And another one for yourself, and that is just wondering what the biggest issues that you brought to the table were. What stood out for Nova Scotia specifically?
Well, of course, all of us are here to brag a little bit about the things that we feel that we're doing well. And so it was really a great opportunity to talk to my colleagues from across the country and the territories to showcase some of the innovations that we've done. As an example, my colleagues were able to go to the Innovation Hub, Nova Scotia Innovation Hub yesterday, and have a chance to really look and showcase some of the incredible things that are happening here. I think it's always encouraging when we know that it feels like these challenges are overwhelming, but when we stand together, we recognize that there are a number of challenges and we have different approaches. I think the conversation around workforce sustainability and how we're going to tackle that in a pan-Canadian way, and how others we are tackling it in our provinces and territories. It's been very, very helpful for me. So the workforce, of course, was top of mind.